Hello and welcome to another Capture the Flag edition of Daryl Show Your Work, episode 95 to be exact. All right, so in this episode, I will be targeting the NetBIOS protocol. All right, so that is actually a legacy protocol that's known to run on ports 137 and 138, and also 139. We're running along the SMB protocol. Before I jump into this, I'm going to give my usual disclaimer here. This is for ethical research and educational purposes only. Any sort of red team or offensive activities that I do, any sort of malicious activity that may come from that directly or indirectly from someone watching my video, I do not take responsibility for, nor do I condone. All right, so NetBIOS is actually a short for Network Basic Input Output System, and it's a legacy network protocol that enables communications between computers and devices within a local area network. So disabling its support on a network and devices is strongly recommended since there are very high security concerns, and I'm going to show exactly why that is. So to get started, I already have our already did some target already did some target discovery. So I have our target IP right here, and that's 10.3.16.43. All right. So since I already have that, I'm gonna jump straight into recon. So I'm gonna use nmap, and I'm gonna do a service scan against this IP, and we want to be able to see if those ports are open. And again, those ports are going to be 130, either 137 or 138. So this may take a little while. So be patient. And actually, this particular scan, it may or may not show the actual port, but it will notify us if indeed should notify us if indeed NetBIOS is present. And I could do a different type of scan, which shouldn't take as long, which would then specifically target those NetBIOS ports, so we could specifically see if anything is running on those particular ports, or if they're even open for us to run anything on them. Run nmap on them to see what protocol is running on them. All right. So it looks like we do have port 445, that's SMB. So port 135 and 139, we have 139. All right. So that makes sense since we have the SMB port open. It makes sense that 139 is open, and it is running netbios-ssn. So let's see if for some reason maybe 137 or 138 is being filtered. So let's run a scan to see if we can see if anything is actually running on those. All right. So I'm gonna do a UDP scan, a service scan, and didn't mean to put that much space in between it. And then I'm gonna run it a little fast. I'm gonna set the speed to 4 to aggressive. All right. Then I'm gonna use the scripting engine within nmap, and I'm going to run a script called nbstat.nse, and then I'm going to aim that let's aim that at port 137. All right, and then we're going to skip pinging because we already know this is up, so we don't have to do the whole ping, and that's just kind of helps speed things up. And this is to kind of skip the whole DNS process with the dash n. All right, and then I'm going to give it our target IP. All right. So what this is going to do again, it's going to see if port is 137 is either open or behind a firewall, and if either is true, if it'll return back anything protocol specific for us. So this should help speed things up. So I don't think this particular scan should take as long as this previous one. Since I skipped the pinging and I turned it to aggressive. Still look like it's taking a bit longer than normal for nmap scan. So some patience is still required for this one. All right, finally. Okay, so it came back and it let us know that indeed the state of 137 does appear to be a filter, so meaning that it's behind some type of firewall or some similar filtering device or software, but it confirms that NetBIOS is running on that port. All right, so I'm going to do another scan here, and I know this one. When I say I know this one doesn't take nearly as long as these previous two. Um, this one is going to basically show the details of port 139 and 445. So since we know that those are open, I want to gain some more details about those. So, all right, since they're actually open and apparently port 137 is behind a firewall. All right, then let's give it our target IP. All right, good. Not nearly as long. Okay, so we go. So we have our versions here, so we can see that Windows BIOS and netbios-ssn is running on 139, and then we have Windows Server 2008 revision 2 2012 running on port 445. All right, so the next thing I want to do is I want to see what version of SMB is running on port 445. All right, just to do some more enumeration here. So I'm gonna say nmap, and I'm gonna use the scripting engine again to do this. So I'm gonna say script SMB protocols. All right. All right, and this should give me a version of what version of SMB is running on port 445. To see if I can get any more information besides what I got. Okay, so this is very important. SMB version 1. So this is potentially dangerous because SMB version 1 is known to actually allow um, anonymous login. All right, so I'm gonna in a few I'm gonna test to see if I can exactly if I actually can do an anonymous login with this version of SMP, but also SMB. But I also wanted to show how it is that we can see a full list of SMB related scripts within nmap scripting engine. We could do that by doing a list all right, and then I'm gonna give the location of the of where these live within Linux. These particular scripts share, and then nmap scripts. All right, so there's a lot of different scripts. So I'm gonna want to do a pipe, and then I want to grep anywhere that says SMB. All right, so we only want the SMB related scripts. All right, so here's the full list of those, and it's a pretty decent amount. All right, so in order to test the anonymous login, I want to use a script called security smb security mode. All right, so let's see if I could find that. Here we go, right here. All right, so this is what I'm looking for. All right, so let's run that. See if we can exploit that anonymous login. So nmap and then port 445, and then dash dash. I'm using a script, so I want to say script smb security dash mode. All right, then I'm gonna give it the target IP here. All right, again, this is going to see the security or what security level is running. All right, and so we can see that it allows guest account, and it explains why why it's dangerous, because most of the time guest accounts allow passwordless um, authentication, or lack thereof, basically passwordless sessions. All right, and we can see down here that message signing is disabled, and it says dangerous but default. All right, so now let's try to see if we can do an anonymous login. So I'm gonna say smb client, all right, dash capital L. All right, and then we're gonna give it the where we're trying to log in to. All right, so I'm gonna hit enter. So if this allows anonymous login, when I hit enter, I should just be able to walk right in, and bam. All right, so it says anonymous login successful. All right, so we now know that that indeed that this SMB version 1 does allow the anonymous um, um, login. Okay, so the next thing that I want to be able to get is, let's see if I can run a script to get me a list of usernames. All right, so I'm gonna use a script. I'm gonna say nmap again, and then port 445. But then I'm gonna use a different script this time, and this time I'm gonna use a script called smb-enum-users.nse. All right, and so this, if it works the way it should, it's gonna return back to me a list of usernames on this machine through the SMB protocol, and bam, there we go. All right, so I have let's see, we have admin, we have administrator, We have a guest. So I just know that I don't have to worry about that because we just use this account, and we have root. All right. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to make a user list, and then I'm going to use a Hydra to try to brute force our way into this machine using these, try to crack some passwords using these accounts, and let's see if we're able to get those user account and password combinations. All right, so I'm gonna do nano, and we're going to call this file that I'm going to create users, and it's going to be a txt file. All right, so I'm going to put in admin, administrators, and root. All right, so I want to be able to, and I'm going to I'm going to exit and save. So I want to be able to use this as the word list that Hydra uses to as the accounts that Hydra uses to try to gain the passwords to. All right, so I'm gonna say Hydra. All right, so instead of putting that long, I'm gonna say dash L, but instead of putting that long um, directory path to the word list, I'm not using word list this time. Well, I am using word list, but I'm using one direct that I just created. That's in my current working directory. All right. So since I'm already running Hydra in my current working directory, all I have to do is put the actual file name instead of that long directory path. But with this now, when I specify the password list, now I do have to give it the actual directory path because the password list is not actually in my local directory. All right. So it's in the usual place, which is user share metasploit dash framework slash data slash word list. And then the name of this file that we're using today, it's going to be the Unix underscore passwords.txt file. All right. So just checking. Before I have to give it our our target, and then we have to tell it what protocol to target, SMB. So just checking my syntax here. All right. User share exploit. Right. Data worthless. All right. So let's run Hydra. Let's see what happens. All right. Already we got one admin Tinkerbell, root Elizabeth. All right. And then we only came back with two. All right. So let's try running that again. Let's see. Let me go back inside of here. Ah, okay. All right. Let me see. Cause should have found one for all three. All right. So let's take that S off of administrators. All right. And let's run that again. There we go. All right. So we got passwords for all three, which is Tinkerbell for admin, password one for administrator, and root. Excuse me, Elizabeth for root. All right, so now I want to use PS exec to try to gain access, to try to use these credentials to gain access to our target host. And again, what PS exec is, I've conducted this in previous videos, but it's a lightweight telnet replacement that lets users execute processes on other systems without having to manually install the client software. So there's an exploitation. Module within the Metasploit framework that has that going on the back end, and should allow us to enter into a interpreter session with the target host as long as we are supplying it these credentials. All right, so to start up the Metasploit framework, I'm going to say service, um, and then we're going to start the Postgre SQL database. Then we're going to combine that with the step to run the MSF console, which is going to throw us into the Metasploit framework. All right, so as usual, let's create a workspace for ourselves, workspace-A, and we're going to call this SMB. All right, and now let's set our target host as a global parameter, so we don't have to keep using that over and over and over again. But there is going to be a time actually in this video that I'm going to have to do that again, and you'll see why. And oh yeah, I should have mentioned this in the beginning. Yeah, actually, we're going to have two targets in this video. So that's something I don't believe I actually had more than one target in a video before. So, but yes, I'm gonna have two targets that I'm going to be pursuing here. So this is the first target. All right, so I'm gonna search for a PS exec module. All right, we have quite a few, but we want this one right here, the exploit Windows SMB PS exec, and it's Windows Microsoft Windows authenticated user code execution. So that's the one we want to use. So we can see that the module ID is 24. So I'm gonna say use 24. All right, let's go to show options. See anything else we have to configure. All right. So moving up a little bit. So we see that our remote host is already set there since I set it as a global parameter. And because this is targeting the SMB protocol, port 445 is already set for me. So I'm gonna have to give it the SMB password and SMB user, and that's basically what we discovered during our prior enumeration when using when running those that nmap script and running Hydra. All right, so I'm gonna enter in the found credentials by saying set SMB user. Let's go for the administrator account. So I'm gonna say administrator, and we're gonna set the SMB password to password 1. All right, and I believe that's all that I need to set to get things going. So I'm gonna say exploit, and it should kick off a interpreter session for us. Looks like it is. All right, let's try that again. Not sure why it timed out. Huh. That is weird. All right, let's see what's happening there. Let me see. All right, let's see. Let's go to show options. Oh yeah, those are. Let me see. Password 1. That's spelled right. That is our target. All right, let me see. Let's try one more time here. Still timing out. Let me see what's send the stage. Okay, there we go. Yeah, I'm not sure what was going on there. All right, anyway, is to get a get UID. All right, so we see we have a system authority, all right, which is good. So get privs, so that should indicate that I have a good amount of privileges, which I do. All right, and let's do a sysinfo. Now it looks like I am running a 32-bit um, session of interpreter on a 64-bit version of the Windows Server 2012. So let's do a pgrep against, let's say, the LSAS processes. We know that should be more than likely running. That's a 64-bit process. And so this is going to return that process ID for me. If it is running, it is running. So, all right, so let's migrate to 684. And that should get me my 64-bit session. So let's see, let's do sysinfo again. All right, we got a 64-bit session. All right, let's go into, let's do a shell. All right, so now I'm in the system. Let's start looking for the first flag. That's right, more than one flag in this one too. All right, so I'm gonna do a CD and go back to the root of C. All right, so let's say dir. All right, so let's jump into the users folder. So I'm gonna say cd users. All right, do dir again. Let's see what's in users. All right, let's enter into the administrator folder. All right, we are in there. Let's say dir again. All right. See, in previous videos, I've gone into the desktop. Let's try the documents this time. Let's see what's in there. All right, so I'm gonna say cd documents. All right, let's do a dir. All right, we got a flag, so I'm gonna say type flag one.txt. All right, and there's our flag. All right, so now I want to go after my second target here. So I'm going to open up another term, a different terminal, because we need our interpreter session still. All right, so this time, as far as host discovery, I'm gonna cheat a little bit. So I'm gonna say cat etc host. All right, and this should tell me any host that's stored here and on the machine. Oops, hold on. There we go. All right. So we have, all right, this is our current target, all right? And so we're going to go after this one. All right. So let's see. Let's copy that. And we're going to throw him right here on mouse pad. All right. Okay, so let's go back to oops, go back to our original interpreter session here. But not our interpreter, excuse me, our shell. All right, so let's see if we could ping. I know we're not going to be able to. We could try to test this out too here. See if we can run a nmap scan. Just a simple nmap scan on this target. Yeah, see, host seems down, so we can't reach it from our local machine. But let's see if we can reach it from the remote host that I'm logged into here. So I'm gonna say ping. Since this is a Windows system, I could do that. I could write that command. All right, and let's see if we get anything in return. So we have some replies back. So I could actually ping it from this machine, just not from our local machine. All right, so that's going to be helpful. So Next, I'm going to go into using a tool known as proxy change. All right. And so what proxy change does is, again, it's a tool, but it hooks into the networking libraries in order to direct traffic through one proxy or a chain of proxies. And it supports the SOCKS of 4/5 or HTTP proxies for TCP connections. All right, so you're going to see in a few minutes here why I want to use that. So let's jump back over to this window and let's look at the configurations of this, because this is going to tell me a lot as far as how I can get into this second target. All right, so the configuration of proxies, and it's version 4, so that's why I typed in proxies change 4. It's telling me that I need, when I'm using a tool as far as aiming at a port, I need to aim at port 9050. That's what this telling me. Okay, all right. So I need to remember that 9050, and it says SOCKS 4. All right. So then I need to actually use the SOCKS 4 version when setting up a configuration, when setting up a tool, a module within Metasploit. All right, so let's jump back in over here into our shell session, and I'm going to exit out of this. So let's see. Yeah, I want to terminate the connection. All right, and then within interpreter, I'm going to create a route to the second target. All right, so I'm gonna say run auto route. All right, and then let's give it the IP, but then I need to still give it a cider. So I'm gonna take that off, add a 0, say /20. All right, and that's going to create a route to that network in general, not just to the machine, but to the target, the network that the target lives on. All right. So then I'm gonna background this interpreter session, Control Z, type Y. All right. So sorry. So that's background. All right. So now let's look for a SOCKS related tool. So I'm gonna say search SOCKS. All right, so I want to use a tool that's going to basically turn my system into a proxy server. All right, so that's exactly what this first one, module ID 0, does. SOCKS proxy server. So that's what I want to use. So I'm gonna say use 0. All right, and then from here, let's show options, because remember, there's some things I have to set up in here. Oops, I forgot the S off options. All right, so this time I don't have to set up a username and password, but I am going to have to pay attention here to the version and then to the server port. So remember, this is set to 1080 by default, but I need to set that to 950. And the version, it told me 4, just running 4, okay, but I'm gonna put 4. It says accepted 4A and 5, so I'm gonna aim for 4A, since when I looked at the configuration of the proxy chains for tool, it specifically told me version 4 and port 9050. So I'm going to be aiming for port 4A instead of 5. All right, so let's set that. So I'm going to say set version to 4A. All right, then we want to set uh, the server port. I'm going to set that to 9050. All right, and it should be good to go for exploitation. So let's do exploit. All right. So it's running that proxy server. So I'm gonna let that run. And what I need to do is in the other terminal, we need to make sure that this is indeed running. So in order to do that, I'm going to use netstat. I'm gonna say dash ANTP, and what this is going to do, it's going to check to see if of indeed that proxy server is running, and I'm gonna be able to tell by looking for 9050 in general to see if it's running on that port. It's going to give me a list of different processes. All right, so we can see. Let's see. Thought I just saw it pop up here. Going up a little more here. There we go. So right here, 9050. It looks like it is indeed running. If we look at the fourth line right here, that's it. It's running. All right. So that's good. All right. So now I'm going to open up a new terminal window, and I'm going to open up a new Metasploit session. So I don't have to start the post gray SQL database, because it's already running, since we already have another session of the MSF console up. So I could just type in MSF console and jump right into another instance of it. All right, this time I'm not going to set up a workspace. I'm just going to jump straight into looking for that PSExec exploitation again. All right, and then I'm gonna use, it was 24. And so I'm gonna use the same attack against this second machine. Remember, what's enabling us to be able to do that is this proxy server that I'm running, um, that I'm running or whatever. Because remember, we can't access it directly from my system here, but we can access it from the previous target. All right, so I'm trying to exploit that connection there, and be able to use that to be able to target this second host. All right, so we know we have to set the SMB user to administrator, and then we have to set the SMB password to password one. All right, and let's go to exploit. Let's see. Oh, well, duh. I have to set. Yes, remember I told you in the beginning, I would have to do this twice. So let's set my R host to our first um, to the first target here. All right. Now let's run that. All right, we got an interpreter session. All right, so let's see. Let's do get UID. All right, and then let's see, get privs. All right, good amount of privileges there. Sys info, and we should have another 32-bit session. We do. So this time I'm gonna go straight into migrate, and let's see, I'm gonna migrate to explore exe. All right, so that should have got me my 64-bit session. Let's see. let's do sysinfo again. All right, and let's launch that shell. All right, and this time I am going to do a net view to and what this is going to do is it's going to let me view shares located on that second target. All right, so I'm gonna say net view. All right, and then let's see, let's give it this IP. All right, so we can see the shares here. All right. All right, so the next thing I want to do is I want to start um, assigning drive letters. All right, and so what I'm going to be doing here is I'm going to be mounting and mapping shared drives. All right, so I'm going to say net use, and let's say we want to do the D drive. All right, and then give it our second target. Documents. All right, so basically I'm mounting drives from that second target, and we're going to see why this is dangerous. All right, that worked. All right, and then let's say I'm gonna do another one here. I'm gonna say net use k. Give it a target again. Then k $. All right. All right. So now let's do some digging inside of those drives now that we have them mapped and mounted. All right. So let's say let's look at the K drive first. All right. All right, so it looks like in the K drive, we have some wallpaper here and not much else. It's something that says bytes. All right, so let's do some digging here into the D drive. So I'm gonna actually change directories into the D drive. Let me say CD. I'm sorry, dir D. We're gonna look inside of D first before I go inside. So we have two very interesting files. So we have flag 2, but then we have something called confidential. All right, so let's get the first. Let's get the flag. Let's do the priority first. So type flag 2.txt. All right, so hold on. Let's see, what did I do wrong there? Oh, well, I have to jump into the drive. That's right. Okay, so let's jump into D. Now let's do type flag. All right, 2.txt. There we go. All right, there's our beautiful flag right there. All right, and then all right, and then now let's look at that confidential file. If I could spell confidential. Ooh, look at that. We got names, we got credit card numbers, we got banks, addresses, dollar amounts, expiration dates, PIN numbers. Look at that. So it looked like our target may have been a bank or somebody that's holding credit card numbers. So basically they just failed the PCI DDS audit here. um, but of course this is not real information. All right, wink wink. Okay, but this is to show you though that when I always say a flag is representative sensitive information, And this time I'm showing you what that sensitive information actually could look like with this confidential .txt file. And now we have the actual PII type of information that an attacker could access once they get a hold of your network shares. And so this was to show you basically how in a roundabout way of how an attacker could still get a hold of your network shares that has valuable information just from you using a old out of date protocol like a net BIOS. And again, just because I couldn't directly target the second host, I still found a way to be able to do that by setting up a proxy, a server that has still allowed me to access those network shares. All right. So I'm not going to go through the full gambit of boring you with the details about how I got here, but just know that through various means, through brute forcing, through nmap, through nmap's scripting engine, and several metasploit exploitation modules, we got here to where we're now I'm looking at credit card numbers and all the PII associated with the people that these numbers belong to. All right. So this is again, it's very important to why not to use unsafe or insensitive protocols when protecting high value information. So please like, share, and subscribe. Most importantly, show your work. Until next time, take care of yourself and God bless.